blocks if you have them in your possession, and if you don't, it's fine. And once you have those blocks, just have a seat on one of them. So your hips are a little higher and there's a descending nature to your upper leg bones. Just kind of maybe even sitting on the edge of the block a little bit so you can feel the connection to your sitting bones and just the slightest forward tilt to the pelvis. And just kind of bringing your awareness to this region of the belly below the navel and into kind of the space between that and the front of your sacrum or the sacral palate. And you might even do that by bringing your hands, one to the lower back. So I have kind of the back of my hand resting on the sacrum and that nice little notch that's there for it. And then one hand just below the navel, kind of holding the contents of your belly, if you will. You can start the playlist anytime you want. Maybe you want the first portion of this to just be quiet, and in the next posture, you can kind of hit the play button. Alchemy of Flow, right on Spotify. And you roll the shoulders down and back, lift the upper sternum, feel a sense of that reflection from the sitting bones off of the block or the floor where you're seated, but let your chin kind of fall in towards your chest. So it's almost this humble reflection. And then start to take the breath in at a rhythm, and I'll suggest, but you can take numbers that work better for you, but the idea is just like a 4-count inhale and a 5-count exhale. It's just a little bit longer exhale than the inhale. And just like waves, kind of create a rhythm of flow. So there's a cadence that you're building, and you're softening back a little bit. So noticing the sheaths of you. It's just like the Russian stacking dolls, if you think of all the sheaths into the center of you, from the physical layer, the matter, energetic space that you have flowing within and without. And the emotional self and what's happening mentally. And all of it is okay. It's integrated, if you will, into kind of this flow of time and space and energy and connection. And then the mind and even the mind chatter. You notice as you slow the breath to that 4-count inhale, 5-count exhale. And maybe the directing and controlling of the breath and the noticing of the sacral region of your body can kind of slow things down. And then also the soul level. So that, again, the Russian stacking dolls just kind of going in all the way to that one thing that is constant, the soul, the steadiness of you, that kind of current that runs underneath it all. And so even when the things are turbulent at the surface, underneath is this little bit sort of more mellow water, this slower, easier movement, but stillness. So there's movement, but it's much stiller. And find that place, if you will, even if it's just intended. And take a couple more breaths just as you are, just arriving. I'm here now, I am. And then we're going to take just another restorative posture to bring the nervous system down before we even get into more movement. If you have the blocks, we'll set up a supported Supta Baddha Konasana. And so my suggestion is the block that'll be under your rib cage and scapulas will be on its lowest level. And then the second block could be on the next tier up or even higher, but I'm kind of suggesting maybe a little more gradual opening of the thoracic spine. And so you can place the blocks how you like, and we're going to lay back on them. And so just position the blocks behind you so that you can tuck the lower block kind of under your scapulas, maybe right at the apex where it sort of sits on the edge. And then the other block will be under your head, so it's just supported. And for a moment, you can decide if you want the feet out and the knees knocked together, or if you want the feet together and the knees wide. And so find your way into something that feels comfortable. If you're just on the floor, that's fine too. You're in Supta Baddha Konasana or constructive rest. Okay? And then we're going to take the arms and just kind of reach them over the head. And can you capture opposite elbow over the head? And just let that kind of get heavy. So you're opening up through, kind of feels like the armpit and even maybe a little bit into the pecs. Definitely into the chest and kind of expanding through the belly. And take a few deep breaths into this expression, this kind of creating space for breath. And if you have a block, you're going to move the block that's under your head to the right, like maybe 5 inches or so. And then with your head resting back on the block, so you just kind of turn your spine into a little C curve. Capture the elbows again and pull with your right hand on that left elbow just a little bit. And take some deep breaths into the left side body. If you're on the floor, that's fine too. You just kind of move your body into a little C curve off to the right, and right hand pulls on left elbow. And then when you're ready, you can come back to center. You can move the block back to neutral if you want to stay for a second in neutral and just kind of feel a little support and grounding, and then you can move off to the other side. And so the block is holding the head. You can take left hand to right elbow again and just kind of pull to the other side. So both of your, well, might feel like your sits bones, but might feel more like your sacrum is kind of rooting you down. So feel a sense of rooting down through the sacrum and pull. And then we'll come back to center, so you can move the block back to center. I want you to bring your elbows to the earth and come up, straightening your legs so you can take fish pose. So your legs will be long out there. You can walk the elbows in, and if you have the block positioned sort of parallel to the top and bottom of your mat, you might be able to kind of squeeze the block with your elbows so they stay tucked in nice and tight. And then push through the ball mounds of your feet, lift the upper sternum, take a big breath in, and your head might fall back and catch the block back there, or just might hang. So Matsyasana, fish pose, inhaling and exhaling. Gently release, push yourself up, move those blocks out of the way, just off to the side. Bend your knees so the soles of your feet are on the mat, and give yourself a little hug in. So hopefully what you'll find is this time to kind of settle into a little bit of a softening of yourself, but then it will have this kind of a gradual build, and it will be nice and challenging for you. So as you're here now, start to build Navasana, so boat pose. You can have your feet on the ground, kind of getting a nice long torso, lifting the upper sternum away from the pubic bone. So you have a nice long spine, lifting base of the skull too. And then if you want to float your feet, you can. If you want to stay as you are here with the feet floating, even hands behind the knees, that's great. If you want a little bit more, you can open Ardha Navasana and come back. So you'll inhale to stretch out and open up, and then exhale to come back up. And you can flow with that, almost like waves again. Just finding a rhythm for you that's with the breath. Inhaling and exhaling. Either you're holding or you're flowing. Either way, there's stillness and there's movement. Eventually, we'll come back up, set the feet on the ground, and move into an upward facing table. So the fingertips can face your glutes. The hands are resting just behind you. Ground your feet, lift your hips up, open the heads of the shoulders, the chest, maybe look up. You can straighten one leg at a time, just taking one heel to the top edge of the mat, lifting the hips as you do, kind of preparing for Purvottanasana if you want to go there. So then stepping one foot back and switching sides, lifting the hips. And if you want to play with going to an upward facing plank, feet step to the top of the mat. You can try to ground the ball mounts as well. They may not get all the way there. It takes a lot of strength in the hamstrings. Lift up. And then you can slowly release down whenever you're ready, either from table or Purvottanasana. And then just kind of fold into a little forward fold. Rock the sits bones, let them walk a little bit on the mat. And then we'll cross the ankles and come into table pose on your hands and your knees. When you arrive here, just take your right leg long behind you with the ball mound connected to the earth. So right leg back, ball mound down. You can feel the hips level off as you pull the belly in, and then drive back through that heel. Push off through the hands. Get a nice calf stretch, really opening up through the back of the right knee and the calf, the gastroc, driving the heel back. And then kind of noticing the levelness of the hips. Keep that. And lift your right leg up into the air with the right ankle still in active dorsiflexion. You're drawing the toes towards the shin bone. You lift the right leg up and then just tap it down. And do that like 5 times. Keep the hips as much as you can from opening. So it's a level kind of energy of your hips. Feeling into the pelvis and its stability so that we can create a sense of rooting and then also flowing and finding movement. So there's stability behind the movement. Do a few of those and then we're going to pivot. Listen, your left toes behind you just a little bit so you create a kickstand. And then this is like half moon with your left knee down. So peel open. Now you're stacking. Okay, you can take a breath in here, and if you would like, breathe out, bend your right knee, capture hand to foot, and then kick the foot into the hand. So these are optional add-ons if you want. So then you sort of come into Chapasana, grounded with the knee down. And when you come back, it's like you were gonna set up for table pose, but I want you to keep the right leg in the air still. So right hand comes down, you can pivot your left toes back in line with the knee. Your right leg is long, toes are turned down. Take an inhale and then curl your knee into your nose. Listen, see if you can sweep the right leg in front of the left one. So you bring the knee all the way in and kind of scoop it around, setting up for Gomukhasana, but you can do this on a block because it's early. So set the block under your bottom and have a seat. Okay, Gomukhasana, your right leg is up and over your left, and the degree to which the legs kind of part and open is fine. Okay, and then circle your right arm under your left and take eagle arms. Yeah. Any kind of movement here is great, but just notice that there's always movement under the stillness, and this is fine. Just noticing the gentle, subtle current of energy. Taking that in. Noticing the response. A beautiful sacred pause between stimulus and our reaction and our response, our knee jerk. Unwind when you're ready. You can move the block out of the way. Just unwind so you can come into table pose. So your right leg comes around and out. And then take your left leg back so the ball mound's on the ground. And again, you're driving through that heel. Just get your calves stretched, push off through the hands. Really notice, are you hanging into your shoulders and neck? Can you get some reverb energy from the earth? Your heart is lifted, your head's in line with the rest of the spine. And then everything about this pretty much stays the same. Let your left foot float. So you're gonna do that like 5 times or so. I feel like 5 has been this recurring number for me in all of these studies I've been doing. And the 5 senses and the 5 elements, 5 activities of the mind, the kleshas, the koshas, like everything is 5. And it symbolizes balance and grace. So when you've done that, maybe it's 5 or 10 times. Then start to open it up into that half moon variation from the earth. So your right toes behind you, your right hand can settle under the shoulder. You peel open at the hips. And then bind it if you wish. Kicking the foot into the hand. And here again, notice if you start dumping into the joints, can you find the sort of center of the joint with the arm bone, the head of the arm bone, the head of the hip that's connected to the earth. When you're ready, you can release that. Remember, you're gonna bring left hand down, but keep the left leg floating. Line your toes on the right foot back up with the knee, and then curl knee into nose so you can sweep the left leg around and have a seat. Gomukhasana with the block. And then your arms can go up for a second and your left arm will go on bottom. And then just watching the current, steady current. And we can start to notice when we get really rattled. And what are the tools that we can employ to find the constancy amidst so much change, which is beautiful change. There's beautiful change, there's challenging change. Was the current, I sent something out yesterday about the thread that we follow through our whole lives, that current constant soul. When you're ready to unwind, you can release that, move off the block, hands and knees, and then down dog. So here, finding your first downward dog, how you need to get there. You can tuck the toes under, you can cat-cow a little bit, you can do whatever makes you feel steady and grounded as you lift the pelvis up into the air. And take a bunch of breaths. And then kind of just like we did with our knees down, you're gonna just kind of keep the hips level. Maybe walk your big toes in and touch each other at the back of the mat. So your feet are more together, and that means the left foot is more centered. And then right leg can go up into the air with the toes still turned towards the earth. Really lift up and out with the right heel so you can feel almost like the weight gets lighter in the hands and the shoulders. Take a breath in, and then as you breathe out, just tap down. Keeping the hips square, just go up and down. And again, maybe it's 5 times. If you like that kind of constancy. The last time, the leg will be up in the air. And then what I want you to do is lift your left heel up and bend your left knee. So now your right leg is way up and back. Your left knee is bent, the heel is lifted off the earth. You're gonna look forward with your leg really pulling in opposition to where you're looking. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, step your right foot forward. And then launch your left leg into the air. So you just find your right foot, left leg goes up. Full inhale, you might know this as Shiva squat. Tuck your left knee in and behind your right one. And then set the left foot, the ball mound, just like a fulcrum. If you look up here, you can see it just kind of like where it naturally falls off to the right. Set that foot down and then turn your right toes in towards the center of your mat just a little bit more and see if you can sit down like this. And then take your arms up. Stretch out of this a little bit. Squeeze the inner thighs, adduct towards the midline, lift up, breathe in as you exhale, touch back down, and then take your left leg into the air again, big breath in. Now your feet are gonna be side by side, left foot to the ground, and stand all the way up. When you get up here, capture opposite elbow. Lift the elbows as you secure the shoulder blades down, so there's opposition. When you're ready, start to turn your torso to the right. And then with your right hand, pull on that left elbow. Come up and over. Come back up to center, square off, turn to the left. And then the left hand's pulling on the right elbow. Your hip points are facing pretty much forward, so there's a lot of rotation happening, the lower back and up through the thoracic. And then come back to center, reach through the fingertips, breathe in. As you breathe out, hands come behind the back, you're still standing. Now drag your knuckles down as you lift and open the heart. Keep the bind and bow into a forward fold. Always take what you need. Keep the bind, take halfway lift with the bind. Keep the bind, see if you can find the right foot really anchored and step your left foot back. So your deep left foot to the back of the mat. Now your back knee comes down. Good. Once you get here, you're in Anjaneyasana with the arms bound. Drag the knuckles towards the back of the left knee. Lift the upper sternum. Look up, take a big breath in. As you breathe out, come into half splits with your arms streaming forward. So balance here, pull the belly in, hug your right hip back a little bit and really anchor. You can always use the hands touching down on blocks if this is too much here. When you're ready for an inhale, we're gonna touch the ground, rebend the right knee, tuck the left toes under and just lift that back knee up. Take a full breath into that. And now just a simple twist. The left hand is down and the right hand is up. My dog's going crazy. When you're ready, turn to the left. Take Prasarita Padottanasana with a little halfway lift. So turn left. Excuse my backside. Take a little halfway lift. And then as you exhale, now turn to the back of the mat. Come into a high lunge. So find your legs and rise high lunge. This high lunge, I want you to think of stretching from your right toenails all the way up to the fingernails. So come up and back. Has a lot of spinal extension, and the back of your right leg is really lifting. Pull the belly in, come up and out of the sacrum. Take a full inhale as you exhale. Stream the arms behind you and torso forward just into a flying lunge. And we're gonna open up to goddess pose, facing off to the side of the mat. So you're turning now to the right. Toes out, heels in, knees bent, and just cactus your arms. Sit low, find movement. Okay, so it's stillness within movement. So it's slow and gradual and intentional. And then your arms can go up, and we'll eagle the arms with the left arm on the bottom. So do the eagle arms again. And anything goes with swaying, breathing, flowing, a softness. When you unwind, warrior two to the top of your mat. So your left toes turn in a little bit, right toes turn forward, arms open up, just slicing through the air, letting your arms land like they're landing on water, on the surface of water. Full inhale, exhale, extended side angle. Maybe forearm to thigh, maybe a partial bind, maybe arm over the head. These are things that, what is serving you now? The breath is here. When you feel ready, we're going Skandasana into the left knee bend. So as you come out, you might reposition your feet a little bit to stabilize and secure for the knees. I'm turning my left toes out a little bit, and I'm gonna drop all the way down. So the blocks can be handy. Place them under your hands if it feels a little deep. And then we'll slowly glide ourselves, staying pretty close to the earth and really fluid back up to the top of the mat, like animal-like. And then step to forward fold. Left foot meets the right. Now bend your knees in Utkatasana. So fierce pose, hips back, heart up, arms up. Find the buoyancy here, even through the knees and the ankles. Make sure you're breathing. Full inhale, now twist to the right. So bring your hands through the heart center and hook your left elbow to your right thigh. Rotate here. Good. Awesome. We're gonna take this into a little bit of balancing. You can stay right here if you wish, or you can bring your right hand onto your sacrum. Let your left hand hold the thigh just behind the knee on that right leg. Push off and stand up. So you're in a standing knee raise, rotating the heart to the right. Any more, you could take hand to foot and extend through the right leg. Could take the right arm behind you. Okay, so you're just checking into what is here and now at this stage in practice, which might feel pretty early. So keep the knee bent if you would like and need. And we're coming back to center, arms over the head, kick the leg out. 2 feet on the ground, a little softness in the knees. Bring one hand to the sacrum and one hand to the lower belly. Softness in the knees, let the chin fall, but keep the shoulders rolling down the back. Lift the upper sternum. So kind of like where we started in a seated position, but from this upright place. And there's motion and the stillness. This is perfect. And then 2 straight legs, arms over the head, fill up and get really expansive. Forward fold, exhale. Now halfway lift. And step to plank pose and hold your plank. Push off. You're holding a door shut with all your might on those hands. When you are ready, we're going to take it into a forearm plank. So go ahead and one elbow at a time. You choose which elbow. Come down, and I'm binding my hands out in front. Forearm plank. Strong. You can always set the knees down, right? Trust yourself what you need. Dolphin is what's coming. So you can kind of look down in between the elbows. Walk the feet in. It's more like down dog on your forearms and lift the hips up. Maybe looking forward towards your thumbs. And if you have some give in your shoulders, try to bring your sternum forward to your thumbs and then push back. And come forward and push back. Couple more. Inhaling, exhaling. Everything is fluid. When you've had enough of that, child's pose, arms forward, knees are wide, toes together, rest your forehead down. Settle back. The flow from child's pose at this moment, when you're ready, is going to be child's pose to high cobra, and then back to child's pose. So when you're ready for a nice big inhale, pull forward, let your toes part all the way. Let the hips drop, open the heart, inhale, look up, and then toes back together. The knees are wide, hips come back to heels, and you rest back. Repeat that over and over, flowing, inhale, opening up. Exhale, receding back, taking it in. You open, and you recede. Okay, so just do that several times. And then when you feel ready, you can make your way into downward facing dog. Just could come from child's pose, it could come from that cobra. You guys look like you're doing good. I don't see anything in the chat box. I'm really happy you're all here, and I'm so happy that we get to connect and move energy. Okay, so when you feel ready, take your left leg into the air. Remember, the ball mount is facing straight down to the ground with the left ankle in active flexion. You're kind of leveling the hips. Gets into that piriformis quite a bit. Take a breath in. As you exhale, just tap down. Okay, so it's just a few taps. Lifting and lowering like a lever. And maybe adding a sense of that you're moving through water. So there's a little bit of just gentle, slow resistance. After you've done that a bunch of times, maybe it's 5, maybe it's 10. The leg stays up. You start to lift your right heel bone. Bend your right knee. Okay, lift the left leg even higher, hips are still square, look forward, and just step your left foot forward. Awesome, yes, and then take your right leg into the air. Again, hips are level. Take a breath in, that Shiva squat, your right knee in and behind the left, fulcrum your right leg, so that lower leg bone just kind of lifts and lowers, and you can get a sense of where it should land naturally, the foot, and then you can sit there on your legs. Good, yes. Squeeze in, take your arms over the head. Full inhale. Exhale, touch down, and then the right leg's gonna float up. So right leg into the air. Feet together, forward fold. Here's your forward fold, hang your head. Now bend the knees, sit pretty deep. Take your arms over the head. Utkatasana, Utka, fierce, powerful. Full inhale breath. As you exhale, the hands will melt into the heart center, and then you'll hook the right elbow to the left thigh and rotate it. Now you can hang out here. So keep lengthening the spine, keep feeling the buoyancy that is you, because we're not still, we're not rigid. Eventually, if you want to stand up, left hand comes to the sacrum, right hand to just behind that left knee, and you can push off with the right foot to stand and rotate. It's up to you if you want to take the leg long and try to capture the knife edge of the foot. Okay, that's a lot in the IT bands, hamstrings. Center, leg forward, maybe it kicks out, and then 2 feet on the ground, some bend in the knees. One hand comes to sacrum, one hand comes to belly. You might be switching each side. And then find a little bend in the knees and a little bit of bounce. Chin can fall, but the upper sternum is really lifted, so the spine feels tall and alert. When you're ready, push off, everything reaches, inhale up, exhale, fold. Then halfway lift as you breathe in. You can do anything that gets you back to down dog, chaturanga dandasana. You can step back again, plank pose, to forearm plank for a moment, even dolphin. Find some flow that gets you back. Adho Mukha Svanasana. And then just drop to your knees for one moment. I would like you to look up here to show you what my plan is. So you can see it and it doesn't sound like crazy. You'll be looking up here anyway because it seems strange. When we come into down dog, we're gonna do the same thing we did, bring the big toes kind of together. This time I'm gonna start with the left leg up and back. We're gonna reach through the heel, lift the right heel up, bend that knee. And now my aim is to use this left leg as a lever to hop my right foot forward so I can just come into warrior one. So there's this buoyancy in the right knee and this levering with my left leg. So I'm pulling the belly in and I'm gonna give a kick and hop my right foot forward so my left foot is back and it can land. And then we rise up for Vira one. All right, so starting in downward facing dog, just first bring your toes together at the back of the mat. And then lift your left leg up and the toes are turned towards the earth. So you're squaring the hips. Then your right heel lifts and you bend the right knee. Find the buoyancy there. It's like you're underwater. Left leg is lifting and lowering a couple times. Look in between your thumbs and then see if you can hop your right foot forward. Yes, good, Caroline. Set your back foot down and then rise up, warrior one. When you arrive in warrior one, can you find a similar essence of really stretching through that whole long line of the left side? Just reaching way up and back. Good, take a big breath in. As you breathe out, fly the arms behind you. Hug your right hip back. And then inhale, open out, horse pose, facing off towards the left edge of your mat. As you exhale, take your left arm under your right. Take a moment, maybe sway a little bit side to side. And then what I want you to do is kind of turn your right toes. We're getting all funky today. Turn your right toes in so it's more that your right foot is a little more parallel to the top edge of the mat. And then you get a little bit of move here so that you can stand up with your left knee forward. Find some fluidity. And then take your left leg up and over into eagle pose. Left leg up and over, eagle. Lift the elbows up, sit low. Keep the arms bound. When you're ready, unwind the left leg, step it wide, and sit back down into horse and just kind of go side to side. You've got your elbows bound, eagling. And then warrior two to the top of your mat. So open out warrior two. Arms float up, fingertips reach. Full inhale, exhale, extended side angle. And then Skandasana, left knee bends, come all the way down. When you feel ready, start to crawl forward towards the top of the mat, take a full inhale, and then flow through Chaturanga Dandasana until you meet me back in downward facing dog. Good, yes. And then inhale, bend your knees, look forward. I'm very warm, I don't know about you. Hop to the top of the mat as you exhale. Create a little halfway lift as you breathe in and fold forward as you breathe out. Now come all the way to standing. Take a full inhale and catch your opposite elbow as you exhale. We're going to twist to the left. So keep the eyes of your hips facing forward. Shoulder blades down, elbows lift. Rotate your upper body to the left and then pull back your left hand on your right elbow. Anchor through both feet, maybe lift all 10 toes. Come back to center, twist to the right, and pull the other way. Good, come back to center, free the arms, reach up, stay standing, but bind your hands behind the back. Drag the knuckles down as you lift and open your heart, and as you exhale, bow forward, hang your head. Keep the bind of your hands, take halfway lift, lengthen out. As you exhale, step your right foot back behind you, keep the bind, set your back knee down. Good, knuckles drag towards the back of the right knee as you lift your heart up and open. And as you exhale, half splits, arms forward, left leg straightens. Pull the toes back towards you so you can find that bind. Good. And then come back to a low lunge, but pick up the back knee and take a full breath in. You're doing awesome. Right hand down, left hand high, simple twist. Now turn to your right, take halfway lift, Prasarita Padottanasana. And as you exhale, the back of your mat, getting ready for high lunge. So really find your feet and then rise up. Here we really reach through the tips of the fingers. Find the breath, inhale. As you exhale, fly the arms behind you. Right hip pulling back, upper sternum reaching forward. And then open out goddess pose. So knees bend, sit low, arms up. Right arm sweeps on bottom. So sit low, just kind of get a little bit lost, not necessarily having this rigidity. When you're ready for an inhale, we open out warrior two to the top. So spin the back heel out, drop in, inhaling, arms float up, and they rest like they're on the horizon line. Good, inhale here as you exhale, extended side angle. And anything, right? It could be a bind, it could be whatever you need. Arms straight up, arm over the head. And then Skandasana. So when you're ready, we'll crawl back into a right knee bend. So I went ahead and pivoted my right toes out a little. Good, Janet, yes. Open up. Keep breathing. Inhale here. Exhale, crawl all the way up to the top of the mat. Launch your right leg into the air. Full inhale. And as you exhale, feet together, fold. All the way to standing. Take a full inhale breath. And meet your hands in front of your heart as you exhale. And then go again. Reach your arms all the way up. And as you exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, get a lot of length in the spine. Chaturanga Dandasana your way. Could even include a little bit of a kick if you wanted, stepping one foot back, little handstand kick. Maybe both sides. Prepping. We'll meet downward facing dog. So your cleansing of the palate. And then Adho Mukha Svanasana. So playing again. This time the right leg's gonna lift. Bring your big toes together when you're in down dog at the back of the mat. Or excuse me, with the feet at the back of the mat. Take your right leg all the way up. Keep the toes facing the earth. Just lift the left heel, bend the left knee, and find a little buoyancy. Start to look towards your thumbs. You're hopping the left foot forward. So really drive through that right heel. Keep the hips square. If you can lever, hop the left foot forward, and then set the right foot down. Come up for warrior one. Good, we're gonna get to do that again. Yay for us. Inhale, your arms go all the way up. Warrior one, the back heel is grounded. As you exhale, tilt the torso forward. Keep pulling your left hip back and fly the arms. Then heel open, horse pose, facing off to the right edge of the mat. And you've got cactus arms. And then right arm sweeps underneath. So with the right arm under, it's going to be left leg as our standing leg. So you can find a little bit of buoyancy and even turn the left toes in a little bit. So you have that stability to stand on. Give it a push and see if you can stand up with the right knee forward and right leg up and over. Awesome, you guys. I can see a good handful of you. Garuda. When you unwind, it's eagle-armed goddess. So you can keep your arms, step it wide, and maybe just a little bit of swimming. And then then we open warrior 2 to the top on a big breath in. Extended side angle, big breath out. Skanda, so right knee bends. Go ahead and flow right into it. Skandasana, right knee back in the mat, beautiful. Come all the way to the top of the mat and just flow through a vinyasa. Flow through. Meet me in downward facing dog. Yeah. I'm watching, you're moving still, so everybody's doing good, I hope. All right, so we're gonna get to do that little hop again. So take your left leg into the air. Left leg. Lift your right heel up, bend the right knee. Look forward and hop your right foot forward. Get some height and lightness. Set your left foot down. Inhale, your arms go up. Fly the arms behind you, exhale. Here we open out horse or goddess with those eagle arms. Left arm is on bottom. And right away, we're gonna start to move into eagle with the right leg as the base. So turn the toes in, find a little bit of fluid movement. Can you stand up, taking the left knee forward? And let go of rigidity. So the direction which you're facing is no big deal, right? Just find your line of energy. When you feel ready, unwind. The arms can stay bound, but you open goddess. Inhale, warrior 2. Exhale, extended side angle. Revisiting these shapes. Skandasana, and then we're going to change it up. So come deep into skanda. Okay, this will be interesting. Where we're going is to half moon. So I want you to build it, thinking about your foundation as you stay close to the earth, and you might even capture a block as you go. Crawling up towards the top of the mat, landing your block, floating the leg into the air. This is the left leg, and then your left arm to the sky. Find your sense of center, find the movement within the stillness and the stillness within the movement. If you want to bind it like we did with the knee down, bend your left knee and take hand to foot. Half moon again. If you have Chapasana, just unwind the bind. Listen, look towards the earth, square the hips, left hand comes down. So left hip's gonna drop. Now bring it into that Shiva squat. Left knee in and behind with the left foot coming down to the earth. Sit low. Take your arms up. Full inhale. Now we twist to the right. So your hands come to your heart and you can hook the left elbow. This could be prayer twist or pasasana if your knees are disagreeable with this. We're getting in there today. Funny thing is, it's a water flow, but it's really creating heat. So you can stay as you are. If you want to come into a twisting half moon and bind, you could even play with going back and forth. I'm going to give you some options. So from this place, you'll start to right leg is your base, bring your hands out in front of you, launch the left leg into the air, and your left hand stays down as your right hand comes to the sacrum of the sky. You could flow between those two shapes, coming back down and back up, just finding fluidity. Or if you want to play with handstand, here's another opportunity. Right foot ball mount is on the ground, heel is lifted, the knee is bent, and you could lever with your left leg. If you're into that today, it's really exciting for me to be able to even play with that. When you, yeah, amazing, you guys. When you are finished, land your feet up at the top of the mat and we'll be in Tadasana, or it could almost be like a little Malasana, shorter stance. Toes out, heels in, knees bent, one hand belly, one hand sacrum, chin falls. Smile your collarbones though, so there's a lot of lift. And then straighten the arms and legs, reach up, turn the toes forward, fold forward, exhale. Your halfway lift when you're ready, and then Chaturanga Dandasana. So flow through any vinyasa to get back to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Good. Awesome, Kim, yes. Good. And then take your right leg and reach it way up and back. So your right toes facing the earth. Then lift your left heel, bend that knee, use the right leg as your lever, look forward. Can you hop your left foot forward? So it gets a little confusing, right? Remember, it's left foot forward, right foot down. Warrior one, inhale, come up. All the way up and back. And then as you exhale, stream the arms. And then open out to your goddess. So we're going back through, and then right arm is on bottom. Okay, so your left toes just kind of turning forward so they give you a place to land, right? You get some directional energy going, and then up with the right knee forward, and set it up eagle. Good. Amazing. Yes, Michelle, really nice. The unwind is to goddess with those eagle arms. Like I said, it was going to be a slow build. Open it up. Goddess pose, eagle arms will become warrior two. So free your arms and reach out, let them land on the horizon. Nice easy water flow. Exhale, extended side angle. Skandasana, inhaling, coming down towards the earth. Giving yourself a moment to know where you're going, which is Ardha Chandrasana, and then Chapasana. So stay low to the earth, stay fluid. Find your block on the way, launch yourself up. Hips are stacked, right arm up. If you want the bind, very mindfully set your gaze. Bend your right knee, take hand to foot. When we release, we start to make our way to halfway lift with the right leg in the air. That means squaring the hips. So when you release the bind, look towards the earth, bring the right hand down, level your hips off, and then Shiva squat. Can you just set the right foot down and find a nice easy place to land? And then bend the knees and get low. Arms will go over the head as you fill up. As you empty out, hands to the heart, hook that right elbow to the left thigh. So I didn't really say this on the other side. This could be a fun launching pad for more of an eagle-like crow pose, so side crow with eagle legs. If you want to play with an arm balance, you can do the same thing as we did on the other side, moving from this little squat twist to a twisted half moon, bringing the right leg into the air, keeping the right hand down, the left hand goes to the sacrum of the sky, or even bending the knee, and again, binding. You know, a lot of opening in the quads and the hip flexors, a lot of movement and mobility with the spine. So we're fluid. Or the handstand kicks, where the left leg is grounded and the right leg is the kicking leg. So you kind of balance it out. Okay, so what do you need there? When you're done, we meet at the top of the mat, or if it feels better to kind of turn sideways, and Malasana, one hand to the sacrum. If you know which one was on the sacrum last time, just switch. One hand to the belly, just below the navel. Shoulders down the back, upper sternum lifted, head can kind of just gently fall. Just kind of like softening that lock, Jalandhar Bandha. Eventually going to flow through a vinyasa, so you can straighten the legs, walk the feet in, top of the mat, arms over the head. Exhale, flow down to a forward fold, and then take halfway lift. Chaturanga Dandasana, maybe in child's pose. So you can flow through vinyasa, come down to child's pose. Yeah. The possibilities that are born through fluidity, when we let go of rigidity and holding, the attachment, the aversions, the conditions that we place through our mind. If it feels like a good time for you to flow, consider child's pose to upward facing or high cobra and just kind of going back and forth. Or you can rest and be in a little more still place. Yeah. Just a sense of energy and motion, emotion, movement, releasing, connecting with the breath, connecting with the easeful, gentle current that is under all of the craziness. Meet me belly down. Elbows can be under the shoulders, legs long behind you. And we started about 5 after, so I'm going to go 5 over if that's okay. If you have to go, I totally understand, but please, if you can stay, please stay. Elbows under the shoulders, Sphinx pose. Anchor through the tops of the feet. Lift and pull the upper sternum forward. Smile the collarbones. Gently lift the chin. It's parallel to the earth. Take a full inhale as you exhale. You keep the sort of drive through the elbows and lift of the heart, but tuck your toes under and kind of walk the feet in a tad. See if you can pick this up into a forearm plank. And for me, because I still have some rehab going on with my shoulders, I'm going to bind my hands. You can do the same if you wish. Or just keep the palms flat. Try not to let the elbows splay out. Come into dolphin. Walk the feet in, big toes together, bend the knees as much as you'd like. Look towards your thumbs. Keep your left foot connected to the earth. Take your right leg up. The left knee is bent, probably. And then maybe there's a little bit of a kick. Keep your hips square. And you can play with Pincha Mayurasana if you want to. Or just lift the leg. It doesn't have to, don't have to disconnect to the earth. Eventually we'll switch sides. Right ball mount can stay connected. You can do a little bit of a kick. When you have had enough, embryo knees are together, arms back, and capture one of your wrists with the opposite hand, and just let your shoulders hang. Forehead down either to the earth or block. Letting that which you've stirred calm. Maybe switch if you have your hands bound behind you, switch which wrist you're holding. See if it shifts anything. And then release your arms to the earth, let them fall. Start to lift yourself up. As you come up, swing the legs out from underneath you. Take a block with you as you come down and come directly into a supported bridge. So you'll come down onto the back. Have your knees bent, and I'm going to go with kind of the lowest level, but you can decide what feels best. I want to also straighten one leg at a time so you can see what feels okay. You can straighten one leg out and then hug the opposite knee in. Toes are still facing towards the sky on the long leg. And then whenever you feel ready, you can switch the knee that's hugged in and the leg that's long. The idea of the layers through the Russian doll, stacking dolls, kind of thinking of your physical level. When you feel ready, you can just come into supported bridge. Bones, muscles, tissues, outer level. Prana, energetic, more subtle body. The connection from the outer world to the inner world, just right through the breath. The physical manifestation of this bridge. Lift your hips up, take the block out, place the block in between the thighs, squeeze it. If you have a block, great. If not, maybe it's just the inner thighs squeezing together. Lift the hips, take the arms over the head and capture opposite elbow. Maybe you switch which elbow you always habitually go to. Squeeze the block, lift the hips, arms over the head, little compression at Jalandhara Bandha, the throat lock. Squeeze the block, lift the hips, arms over the head. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, you can lower it down. Release the block and just hug your knees into your chest. Offer you wheel if you would like wheel. If you don't want to come into a full back bend, you could take a flowing bridge and just enjoy kind of that breath with movement. Flowing bridge would be inhaling, hips up, arms over the head, letting them fall to the earth, and then slowly just washing that over you, coming back down. So you could take a flowing Setu Bandhasana, or you can come into Urdhva Dhanurasana, an upward facing bow, bringing the hands by your ears, fingertips facing the heads of the shoulders so you get your palms flat. Pick up your hips and then push off, bringing the crown of the head to the earth.
Today's the first day I've been able to do this in a year. And then straighten your arms as best you can. I can't straighten my arms all the way, but so find your shape that gives you a sense of freedom, fluidity, openness. It could be that wheel, yeah, amazing, amazing, amazing. Wheel or bridge or constructive rest, feet wide, knees knocked, or Supta Baddha Konasana. We'll meet in one of those two shapes, Supta Baddha Konasana or constructive rest. Good, yes. And perhaps you will try this with me. If you're in Supta Baddha Konasana or constructive rest, could you place one hand under the sacrum and one hand on the belly? We'll be switching because I know that it feels a little off kilter. We're bringing all this energy and awareness to literally the source of life in us, this place that is the ultimate area of creation and creativity and fluidity. If there was a place that we could identify as that, where we literally can create life, just touching that on the body, being aware of it, letting it kind of open up and flow. Switch which hand is under the sacrum, which hand is on the belly, if you're doing this with me. And you could sync the breath to a 4-count inhale and a 5-count exhale if you wish. Nervous system settling, continuing to focus the mind and our awareness, single-pointed focus, not so crazily running around. When you feel ready, you can lift the hips up, you can set the sacrum to connect with the earth. Hug the knees in and just take a final little twist. You could eagle your legs if you like twisted root. You could straighten one leg and take the other knee in and then twist that knee across the body, or both knees together. So giving you a lot of options to really check in with what feels like the right expression based on what we've done, where we've been. If you're twisting with me, you can start to make your way to the other side, switching the posture to the other side. Easy breaths in and out. Bridging those worlds, this external world with this inner world of you. When you're ready, come back to center, hug the knees in, or happy baby. You can capture the outer edges of the feet. You might feel good on piriformis with the stuff that we've done. Could even be Baddha Konasana, meeting the feet up there. We're preparing y'all for final rest. So please, as you're ready, get yourself tucked into a final resting posture. Soften back. Under the surface of movement, stillness. When you put your hand in a flowing stream, you touch the last that has gone before and the first of what is still to come. Begin to even out the breath. In other words, allowing the inhale and the exhale to be somewhat equal in length. Just allowing yourself to thread back into that connection to the cadence. Following the flow of your breath and feeling that rhythm inflate, inspire, deflate, expire, the inhalation, the exhalation, just riding that wave a little bit. And then when it feels like a good time and it sort of stirs you a little bit into movement, you could roll the head a little bit side to side, or shoulders could find movement, fingers, toes, wave your legs a little bit, tap the backs of the knees. However this movement wants to enter the body and start to ripple throughout. And then whenever it feels like a good time to move off to one side, you can build yourself up to a seated position. And perhaps as we close, we just have the hands in the lap with the elbows heavy. But a lift coming from the inner parts of you, if you could think about the heart space or the sternum, getting a rise and the upper palate. Follow the breath in and out. Eventually, if you're seated with me, you can meet the hands in front of the heart. It's just in honor of the practice and what it offers us. Movement, strength, flexibility, movement of energy, the subtler aspects of ourselves, whatever it is for you, and just kind of locking that in as a memory and a groove to always know that it's here for us, even if it's in the pause between stimulus and our reaction, to take a breath. And I bow to each of you. I'm saying that because I need it too. I bow to each of you. So much love and light. Namaste.